Hello all! In this video, I'm going to show you why I remove the thick carpet of moss from the surface of certain cephalotus. If you have plants that spread by underground stolon, that moss can get so dense that the new plants have a hard time pushing through it. Instead, the stolon usually end up running all the way to the edge of the pot before they finally pop up. I'll be using OG Black for this demonstration. I'll also show you when I got the plant back in November 2024, how I removed the seller's exotic media, repotted it into its permanent 5-inch pot, and how it's grown since then. So I got this plant in November of 2024. It came in a 2.5-inch pot. It is a very well grown cephalotus, as you can see. And you can already see there's a bunch of moss that's already growing on the surface of this plant. And the seller's description is that this plant is grown kind of like a ebb and flow system. And later on, I will show you during the repotting phase, where you can see what I would consider exotic media, which is composed of pieces of rock wool and I believe is aquarium soil. So here I'm just looking at the plant to see if there's any damage during transit, and it was very well packaged, so nothing happened. And I guess credit to the media, because how compact the media was, there was no way this plant ever shifted during transport. So what you see here is I've already removed the pot and already started removing all of the media from the plant. And here you can see the interwoven moss that just keeps everything together and basically forms almost a shield under the crown. And earlier on, I mentioned the exotic media. Here you're looking at the black pebbly stuff. I believe is the aquarium soil, and the other stuff that look like little cubes. Those are the rock wool. So what I'm doing is gingerly removing all of the moss that I can from the base of the plant and around the crown, because I just want to delay any remaining moss to take a foothold in the new soil and just growing rampant. So just gradually I'm removing it. And what I'll probably do is speed up the footage, because this is just taking too long and you'll probably get bored. So let me go ahead and speed it up. And if you have any questions or comments, post it below.
Little green pitcher all by yourself, brought you home and gave you a place. Now every morning I look at your face. Mix the soil and set the light. Checked on you morning, noon and night. People said, man, that's just a plant. They don't understand. Every new picture makes me smile. You've been stealing my heart a while. Growing slow but looking so fine.
So now you can see this is the size of the entire plant, and during the video you can see some of the rock wool that was interwoven into the roots. And rock wool is by far the hardest media to remove from cephalotus, because first of all, cephalotus roots are really brittle, and I tried as hard as I can to preserve as much of the roots as possible. And right now I'm just inspecting the plant, and right for what I'm gonna do is to treat this as a cutting. So final inspection, removing some of the moss and any remaining bits and pieces of aquarium soil, and also removing any brown or dead material from the plant. So once the final inspection is done, we will move on to potting it up to its final home, which is a 5-inch net pot, and using the capillary system. Okay, so holding on to the plant, and now is the time to pot it up into its final home, which is a 5-inch net pot. At the bottom, I already have a bunch of nylon cords woven into the bottom of the pot, and I already have some soil in the pot. And what I'm going to be doing is filling in most of the soil. And again, the medium that I use for my cephalotus is 1/3 organic African violet mix, 1/3 perlite, and 1/3 peat moss. And what I normally do is, as I'm filling in the pot, I am also intermittently wetting it down to ensure there are no air pockets.
I found you when I was just a kid, a tiny picture in a plastic pot. Didn't know then what I know today, didn't know how much wisdom you got. I thought I'd teach you how to grow, give you water, light and care. Never crossed my mind back then you'd be the teacher standing there. You watched my leaves, you counted days, measured every inch I grew. But while you thought you were teaching me, life was teaching lessons through you. The seasons move when they're ready to move. The rain arrives when it wants to fall. Some things bloom on their own sweet time. You cannot force them at all. Every setback felt so hard. Every setback left a mark. I thought the darkness meant the end. Sometimes roots grow in the dark. What feels like waiting isn't wasted time. Some lessons only grow beneath the soil. I thought I was raising you. Funny thing, I was raising you too. Every picture, every year, every failure brought you here. 30 years, and the lesson stays true. I thought I was raising you. Funny thing, you were raising me too. Some years sunshine, some years storms, some years everything went wrong. Pictures dried and dreams got.
Before we continue, let's take a look at a quick side-by-side comparison from the time I got the plant until now. As you can see, it's done remarkably well, and it is already overflowing the edge of the pots. So you can also see the carpeting of moss. This is Martin Stockl clone, and this plant spreads through underground stolon. Here you see a small stolon that's broken through the surface. I did assist it a little as I'm doing my weekly inspections, I did notice a little bump on the soil, and it was a little bit dry, so I started excavating it, and this is what I discovered. And then next to it is a larger crown that is growing out, and it is doing remarkably well. And this is why it is important to remove the moss that eventually covers the top layer of the pot. So here we're going to start, and first I'm testing it with a pair of tweezers, and I realized it was pretty thick because I can not budge it at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe find a pair of scissors. Here I'm using a pair of scissors, just cutting through it. It is really not that difficult. I just wanted to see how thick it was before I proceed. And as you can see, it's about maybe a little bit more than a quarter-inch deep. And here I'm using the tweezers and moving it piece by piece. So you can see how it is, just holding all the soil together as I'm removing it. And what I'm doing is being really careful to ensure that if there are any stolons that is stuck in the moss, that I don't accidentally rip it off as I'm removing the moss from the surface of the pot. So this is not something you want to be too haphazard with, because it really hurts when you're just doing your weekly maintenance and realize, oh shoot, I just removed a new growth point, and now it is a setback for the plant. So be careful when you're doing this. And here I do notice a older picture that is ready to come off, and I just remove it with a pair of lap scissors. And I'm also looking at where the stem is, or the petiole, and removing that as well. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to speed up this footage because it is quite a while to do this, and I will pause and slow down the footage where there's important information to point out to you guys.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I planted hope in a little green crown, put it in the soil and I watched it settle down. Day after day, week after week, looking for progress that was hard to see. No fireworks, no overnight fame, just a little more growth than yesterday came. Some folks laughed, said it took too long, but the roots kept growing when nobody looked on. The world loves speed, the world loves fast, everybody wants.
Now I'm removing the last bit of the moss, and we're going to move on to the next step. And what I'm going to do next is, just a moment here, I think I noticed a few more bits. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push the soil underneath where I've excavated. And the reason is Staphylococcus will root along the stem. So I'm doing two things here. First, I am pushing soil up against the stem so additional roots will find its way into the soil. And the next thing is I am also creating a mound underneath the plant. So what I'm also trying to do here is elevating the plant a little bit above the pot rim, and that way I can add more soil later on. So, and it's also an easy way to uh, take up additional space that may be under the ground. So it just gives more surface area for the roots to penetrate and make its way into the pot. So this is a way to extend the longevity of cephalotus if you're growing it in a pot without having to repot or transplant every 3 to 5 years. But again, with my system of capillary wicks and net pot, this is the plant's permanent home. If you're using this method to grow cephalotus, then this is something you will need to consider putting some time and effort into. So once again, this is going to take a while, and I'm going to speed it up and pause where I think additional information is necessary to point out to you guys.
But nature keeps teaching a different way. One small step every single day. The clock keeps ticking, the seasons change, and every little victory adds up the same. The long way is where the magic lives. It's where the giant grows. Every dream worth having knows. Some things bloom in the moment. Some things take a lifetime. The long way makes the reward shine. Makes the reward shine. Yeah. I watch tiny pictures become old friends. Watch setbacks come and begin again. Lost a few plans, learned a few scars. Sometimes the journey felt longer than far. Still I showed up, still checked the lights, still mixed the water, still checked every night. Not because somebody said I should, because I believe tomorrow could. Patience ain't passive, patience is action, showing up daily.
Now that we have shifted all the soil to underneath the plant and mounting it, the next phase is to add new fresh soil and bring everything back to level. So what you see here is just a used syringe that I cut the top off, and the soil mix that I'm using is 1/3 organic African valley mix, 1/3 perlite, and 1/3 peat moss. And the reason I'm going through this trouble is as I'm putting the soil into the syringe and directing it exactly to where it wants to go, I'm also inspecting the soil in the scoop to make sure that any large particles of perlite or wood or pieces of humus that is too large is also manually removed. So it is a tedious process, but it's a process that is well worth doing. Especially, I don't want to make my workspace too dirty. So it also helps with cleaning up later on. And here I'm just using the end of a pipette as a plunger and just moving the soil from the syringe and into the pot. Now I am not really compacting the soil because I still want the soil to be nice and loose. So if there are any roots wanting to make its way through, it's not going to have to struggle doing so. So again, I'm going to speed this up and pause where I need to point anything to you guys. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to post it into the comments.
Yeah. Pull up a chair. There's always room for one more grower at the table. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. I remember walking into my first plant show. Didn't know much, but I wanted to know. Saw giant pictures I'd never seen before, and friendly folks opening every door. Some shared stories, some shared advice, some shared mistakes that saved me twice. Nobody bragging, nobody above, just people united by what they love. One handed me a division to give it a try. Another said don't quit if a few plants die. Little did I know back then I'd still be growing all these years again. Some lessons come from books, some come from rain, some come from people who walk through the same. Pull up a chair at the grower's table. Share your stories if you're willing and able. Every giant picture started small, and every grower learned from us all. Pull up a chair at the grower's table. Nobody here needs to be famous. Pass the knowledge, pass the flame. That's how the hobby stays the same. Yeah. From Southwest Australia to grow rooms bright, winter rains and summer light. One grower learns, then teaches too, and the circle keeps growing like good things do. Plant swaps, meetings, friends I know, people who helped my collection grow. Some gave division, some gave time, some shared wisdom worth more than a dime. The greatest plants aren't always the rarest ones. Sometimes they're tied to the people we become. Every picture carries a memory too, of someone who helped you make it through. Some lessons come from books, some come from rain, some come from people who walk through the same. Oh, pull up a chair at the grower's table. Share your stories if you're willing and able. Every giant picture started small, and every grower learned from us all. Pull up a chair at the grower's table. Nobody here needs to be famous. Pass the knowledge, pass the flame. That's how the hobby stays the same. A plant can grow in a pot alone, but a hobby grows through people. One conversation, one friendship, one act of kindness at a time. Pull up a chair at the grower's table. Share your stories if you're willing and able. Every giant picture started small, and every grower learned from us all. Pull up a chair at the grower's table. The door is always open.
So we're finished with adding the soil back to the pot. So what I'm doing now is I'm just using a pipette and gently watering in the new soil. And just to make sure that if it does settle, I have the opportunity to add a little bit more soil. What I'm doing there with that little thing you just saw is blowing any particles of dirt off the pitchers during the entire process. So this is where I just take my time. I don't want to rush this process, just being gentle overall. And I'm just also looking at any areas where the soil is settling, and if I see any pockets that I've missed, here I'm using a kind of like a little tiny spatula and moving soil into any cavities that I've missed early on and backfilling it, as you can see over here. And of course, being very careful not to dirty up my workspace.
Yeah. 30 years and still learning. Still waiting. Still growing. Just like life. When I was just a kid, I found a little green thing, tiny little picture with a heavyweight dream. Didn't know then what the years would bring. Didn't know how much a plan could teach me. Some days sunshine, some days rain, some days growth, some days pain. Some plants fly and some remain, but every little picture plays its game. People ask me why I wait so long, why I celebrate when one leaf grows strong, why I smile when the progress seems slow. Cause the best things in life take time to show. Every morning brings a brand new page, every season writes another stage. You can rush all you want, but you'll never control the mystery growing inside your soul. Separatus is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. One grows giant, one turns red, one surprises you again.
So we're finally done, and now what I'm doing is putting a humidity dome over the cephalotus. OG Black is one of the cephalotus that requires 90% to 100% humidity to do well. If it's not given this high level of humidity, the pitcher lids will not open. And also, any fluctuations would cause the plant to wilt. So the way I do the humidity dome, because of my environment, is I just invert two of these transparent saucers and punch a few holes on the top, and that's how I give this plant its 100% humidity. And because I look at the plant so frequently, there is a lot of air movement. Basically, from me opening the lid, checking it once every day, sometimes 2 times a day, but at minimum once a week. So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, as usual, post it, and I will do my best to respond to any questions you may have. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.
Separatus is a box of chocolates. Every picture tells a story, yeah. 30 years later, I'm still amazed by the little green miracle I raised. One picture dark as a midnight sky. One shines bright when the sunlight's high. One stays small while another grows wide. Everyone got its own little